So we'll continue our discussion on risk management. There are various forms of exchange rates that we have to know. If you check your study pack, you see them. But first and foremost, let me reiterate again what exchange rate is. Exchange rates, we said, is the rate at which one country's currency can be exchanged relative to another another country's currency. So it is the amount of one currency that can be traded for one unit of another currency. Yes. So it means once you are giving exchange rates, one of the countries' exchange rate will be either 1 naira, $1. The other will be higher than the 1 naira. So when you're trying to look at their comparison, trying to see their relative ratios, yes, how much of naira do you need to get dollar? How much of dollar do you need to get naira? Yes, that is the exchange rate. So exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. The exchange rate between US dollar and naira. So there are various types of exchange rates. We have floating exchange rate, we have fixed exchange rate, we have managed floating exchange rate. So when we talk about the floating exchange rate, the floating exchange rate, this is the rate. This is the rate that is determined by the market forces of demand and supply. It is a rate determined by the forces of demand and supply. And it is also known as flexible exchange rate system. Flexible exchange rate system. So under this system, there is no government intervention in the foreign exchange market. And the exchange rate is determined by the interaction of the market participants, such as banks, firms, and other institutions. So all these participants who seek to buy and sell currencies for the purpose of conducting transactions in foreign exchange rate, they are the determinant of the floating exchange rate or flexible exchange rate. It's not a system whereby the government of the day will decide to fix the exchange rate. Yes, this is left for the forces of demand and supply to determine. That is floating exchange rate. We've been following the economic issues of Nigeria. We discover at the point you see the CBN trying to work on the exchange rate to see how they can stabilize naira in relation to dollars. Yes, various forms of interventions to see that naira gains stability and stop fluctuating day in, day out. So also we have the fixed exchange rate. The fixed exchange rate. The fixed exchange rate. The fixed exchange rate. This refers to a system in which exchange rates for a currency is fixed by the government, and this system of exchange rate regime is usually adopted in order to ensure stability in foreign trade and capital investment. So to achieve exchange rate stability, government most times undertakes to buy foreign currencies when the exchange rate depreciates. Yes, when the exchange rate depreciates, it means when you need more naira to get dollars, it means the naira is depreciating. But when you need less naira to get dollar, it means naira is appreciating. Yes. So most times to achieve stability in the economy, governments often take a bold step to buy foreign currency when the exchange rates depreciate and sell foreign currency when the exchange rate what appreciates. So by doing so, government will be able to maintain large reserves of foreign currencies to achieve the desired exchange rate. So to have stability in the exchange rate, government buy foreign exchange when there is depreciation in a particular country's currency, and when the country's currency appreciates, what they do is what they sell the foreign currency. They sell the foreign currency. It's just like a way in which the central bank control commercial bank. All those measures such as OMO, open market operations, liquidity ratios, moral solutions, all those approach. So this is also a way in which stability in the exchange rate can be achieved, whereby the government intervention is required and they fixed the exchange rate to make sure that the economy of a particular country does not run into shambles. And also we have the managed floating exchange rate, managed floating exchange rate, managed floating exchange rate, the managed floating exchange rate. This managed floating exchange rate, there, there refers to a system in which foreign exchange rate is determined by the market forces and government influences. So it's hybrid, is a combination of floating and fixed. So it is a hybrid of fixed exchange rate and a flexible exchange rate system. So under this system, central bank intervenes in the exchange markets to restrict the fluctuations in the exchange rate within certain limits. A limit is set that we don't go beyond this level. Yes, a ceiling is set, and to keep the exchange rate close to the intended and target rate. So the forces of government act as a force, and the market forces also is giving room to interfere at a relative measure. So in so doing, we have the managed floating exchange rate, the managed floating exchange rate. So these are the forms of exchange rates that we have. These I write-ups you can see on the screen, I adopted them from the study pack, ICANN study pack. So now we have theories of exchange rate determination. Theories of exchange rate determination. The theories of exchange rate determination, we have the purchasing power parity theory, we have the interest rate parity theory, we have the international Fisher effect theory, and we have the expectation theory. Now, when we talk about purchasing power, I know this is not the first time we are coming across the word purchasing power parity theory. Because of time, what does this entails when we talk about purchasing power parity theory?
Sir, please, can you go back? Let me just write the theories out, please.
Don't worry, as we are talking, we'll be picking them one after the other.
Okay, sir.
And I will forward the slide.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. You can continue, sir, please. Thank you.
Purchasing power parity theory. This theory, purchasing power parity theory, this theory states that the exchange rate between two currencies depend on relative inflation rates within the respective countries. So when we talk about purchasing power parity theory, we're looking at exchange rates in relation to inflation. So it states that the same goods, wherever they are traded, should have the same price. That is this theory now. That's and you are selling a particular item in a location. Once you move that item to another country, should maintain same price when the value of the currency is being converted. So this theory is premised on the law of one price, of one price. And it states that the price of goods should be same in every market if there are no transaction costs, trade barriers, quotas for a particular good, and so on and so forth. So the theory assumes that the same product cannot have different prices in two different markets at any given point in time. That is purchasing power parity theory. So the purchasing power parity theory forecasts that if inflation in one country is higher than in another country, if inflation in Nigeria is higher than that of Ghana, it simply states that the exchange rate value will fall so as to reinstate purchasing power parity. So in practice, the exchange rate does not change in line with the purchasing power parity forecast due to some limiting factors such as price level changes, employment, currency fluctuation, availability of credit, and so on and so forth. So in the short term, the purchasing power parity theory provides useful guide in terms of providing directions and a level of exchange rate movement over a longer period of time. So this purchasing power parity theory, it has a formula in which you also be looking at direct quotes and indirect quotes. Direct quotes and indirect quotes. When we talk about direct quotes and indirect quotes, what do we refer to? Direct quotes, indirect quotes. We defined that in the last class. But we are not reading.
For direct quotes, this is where the price of one unit of foreign currency is being expressed in equivalent amount in home.
Yes. Or you get to see more of that as we explain. As we pick examples, I will be pointing out that definition I gave that last time that you're trying to compare with what is in the study pack. You see the clearer version of it now. So now, the purchasing power parity theory can be calculated using the following formulas. All things being equal, these formulas will be made available in the question paper, but I don't work with that. Know it. Know it. Somebody was starting me that these formulas are becoming too much. That is financial management and SFM for you. So you just have to know it.
Sir, please, this SO, is it X or times?
Don't worry, I will explain it. I will define everything you are saying here. So purchasing power parity theory can be calculated using the following formulas. We have direct quotes. Now, when you're talking about direct quotes now, the direct quotes, you are looking at the inflation in terms of the domestic currency and inflation in terms of what? The foreign currency. So when you use direct quotes, the ST there is estimated spot rate at the end of the period. When you're trying to determine the estimated spot rate at the end of the period, you use the formula XO XO is the current spot rate. That is the X, then the O is a subscript. Yes, the X is big and the O is a subscript. So XO multiplied by what? Multiplied by the fraction 1 plus 1 plus period inflation rate in domestic currency. That is 1 plus ID. That ID is what? Inflation as it relates to domestic currency. Divide by what? 1 plus inflation as it relates to what? Foreign currency. As it relates to foreign currency. That is for direct quotes. For indirect quotes, it will be the reciprocal of what you have for direct quotes. So for indirect quotes, it will be what? Your current spot rate multiplied by the fraction 1 plus inflation, inflation rate in foreign currency, and divide by 1 plus inflation rate in relation to what? The domestic currency. Let's see if we have an example here. So we have this example that the the current exchange rate for Naira and GBP is 250 Naira to £1. That's forecast annual inflation in Naira in Nigeria is 8%, and in the UK is 5%. Calculate the estimated spot rate at the end of the period using direct quotes and also using the indirect quotes. Using direct quotes and using the indirect quotes. So in relation to this, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? This example is from the study pack. So what are we going to do in relation to this question? That's the current exchange rate for Naira and pound is 250 Naira to £1. Forecast annual inflation. The inflation in terms of in Nigeria is given as what? As 8%. The inflation in UK is given as what? 5%. Calculate the estimated spot rate at the end of the period. Now, for direct quotes, we gave a formula, right? We presented a formula. That's what this is the formula. And for you to determine the expected or estimated spot rate at the end of the period, you need what? SO is defined as what? Current spot rate.
Current spot rate.
Multiply by 1 plus
Pressure.
Inflation of a domestic currency.
yes, inflation of domestic.
Right.
The
Correct.
question is yes, the question is this. The question I would like to ask is this: which country is a domestic country now?
Nigeria, I think.
Nigeria.
So why is it Nigeria?
Because we're in Nigeria.
Okay,
Oh, we're in Nigeria.
I think based on the question, we are given that the GPC is 250 to $1.
Yes. Yes.
Like the exchange, like if you are converting, if you want to get this a dollar of equivalent to naira, you need to have up to 250. So that is why I think that the domestic uh,
So, based on my last class, can you open to your notes and read out the definition of direct quotation? Then you now will now interpret it now. Direct quotation. I want you to, once you see a question, you should be able to know what is happening. Yes. So read the definition. I said this is when the price of one unit of foreign currency is expressed in terms of what? Domestic currency. One unit of foreign currency is expressed in terms of what? Domestic currency. The 1 unit of foreign currency here is what?
Naira. Okay.
Pound. On pound.
Pound.
In relation to,
250.
Naira.
Oh, naira.
so it shows that what? This is clearly a direct quotation. Now, coming down, we'll still look at indirect now. Coming down to the question that we should solve using direct quotation. How are we going to go about it? Using this formula now. The estimated rate is what? From the question, your estimated spot rate will be what?
250.
250. Will be 250. Estimated spot rate will be 250. Now, multiply by this fraction, 1 plus inflation in relation to domestic currency is what?
8%.
8%.
8%.
8%. 8%. So it will be what? 1 plus 0.08, right?
Yes, sir.
1 plus 0.08. Then for the denominator, it will be 1 plus inflation in relation to the foreign currency is what?
5%.
5%. So 1 plus 0.05. Then once you substitute, you do your simplification. You simplify. So can we do
Excuse
that now?
me. Please, can you just take the variables of that formula part, please? The
So
SC, SO.
this is the definition of those variables. From the question, the current spot rate in terms of direct quotation is what? 250.
250.
This is 250. 250. The inflation in terms of the domestic currency is what? 0.08. Divided by inflation in terms of the foreign currency is what? 0.05.
0.05.
So once you simplify, the result will be what?
257.14.
ST will be equal to 257.14.
257.14.
257.14. Who is not getting this? 257.14. You know, to punch calculator, you need special tutorials again. So I need to know if somebody is not getting it.
Yes, so Mr. Taiwo, I'm not getting.
Yeah, my spirit don't used to deceive me. So what you do, ma? You say 1 plus 0.08 You have what, man? 1.08. Divide by 1 plus 0.05 is 1.05. So 1.08 divided by 1.05. You get what, man?
I have 0.0203.
That is my own calculator now. 1 point. Then you now multiply by 250. Let me punch you. 1.08.
Okay, 257.143
So you
by
are there, right?
140. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So now this is for direct quotes. Now for indirect quotes, what will happen? Somebody should tell me now.
P and invert the one plus 0.05 will be on top. Will be the numerator, then the other one will be the denominator.
Yes, see it here. For indirect quotes. I know some persons, when you see this in your study pack, you'll be imagining what kind of thing is this. So when you see such thing, don't be scared. Just follow it gently and you get it. So you'll be imagining what is IF, what is ID. So can you solve for indirect quote? What is the result?
243.1
43.05.
approximately.
Okay.
243 point approximate 1.
Okay. Okay. The indirect quote. Take note now. Take note. The spot rate now. The indirect quote of the spot rate. The spot rate. Let's come back to the question. This is direct quote, right? This is direct quote. If you want to get the value of pounds
Okay.
in relation to naira, the reciprocal
£1
of this will be what?
£1. £1.
equals to 250 naira.
Can you come again, please? The indirect quote of this is a direct quote. The indirect quote, we say indirect quote is reciprocal, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So the indirect quote of this will be what?
That is
£1 equals
£1
to 250
equals to
naira.
250 naira.
That is, it will be 1 divided by 250.
Yeah.
So it means you need 0.004. 0.004 pounds to get 250
50
naira.
naira.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the reciprocal. Now, for you to get £1, you need 250. For you to get 250, if you are in UK, how much naira do you need? Or how much pounds do you need?
0.004.
0.004.
Yeah, 0.004. So that is the reciprocal. That is the value. That is the spot rate as at this time. In terms of what? Indirect quotes. In terms of indirect quotes. This aspect, you must sit down very well and analyze it on your own and know how to determine it. So, but based on the definition I've given, please just follow that definition. As you see a question, follow the definition, interpret it, and you get it. So don't get yourself confused about anything. So using the indirect quote now, you need to get the reciprocal of this, which will be what? 1 over 250. And you get 0.04. So once you substitute that into, it is for indirect quotes now. For indirect quotes, we have it as this. So this will be what? spot rate 0.04. Then this will be what? Inflation in relation to the foreign is 0.05. And this will be what?
0.08.
0.08. Once you simplify, the result will be what?
3.88 pounds. What I get?
2.88.
Zero point
3.88 pounds.
0.00 0.0038.
0.0038.
0.0038. Yes.
0.003 now.
All right. So it will be what? 0.00388 what?
8. Yes, correct.
You can have another scenario. We can have another scenario whereby you are not just expected to determine the inflation rate just for a year. You can be expected to determine the spot rate for year 1 to year 3. Year 1 to year 3. For example, let's pick this again. Let's look at this example. Let's look at this example. That what? Still under purchasing power parity, that the current exchange rate,
Hello, sir.
I'm with you, sir.
Sorry for taking you back, I beg. Why are we using 0.004 under the spot rate for indirect quote?
Originally, the quotation is what? Is a direct quotation. Originally, 250. This is it. This is a direct quotation. Now, to get the indirect value of this, we said indirect quotation is the reverse of direct quotation. And the reverse of indirect quotation will give you direct quotation. So if this is expressed as a direct quotation based on spot rate, it is the spot rate, the instant rate as at the time of this computation. What will be the instant rate, the reverse value of this in terms of indirect quotation? This is
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you, sir.
this is direct quotes
Thank you.
and this is indirect quotes. So the direct quotation here based on domestic rate. See it, the numerator is D. So this must go in line with the numerator. The spot rate here must go in line with what? The numerator. So that is how
Sir.
it
Thank
works.
you.
So,
Thank you, sir.
all right, sir. So the current exchange rate,
Yeah? No.
wait, this class is being recorded. If you know you want to talk, mute yourself. The current exchange rate for the Naira and the UX dollar and the US dollar is 150 Naira to $1. it is expected, it is expected that the rate of inflation, the rate of inflation in Nigeria, the rate of inflation in Nigeria will be 3% per year. See the statement, 3% per year for the next 3 years. For the next 3 years. And in US, the rate of inflation, will be 5% per year. So the question is this: using purchasing power parity, what will be the exchange rates? What will be the exchange rates? What will be the exchange rate, the estimated exchange rate now, using the purchasing power parity? Now, this expression here, is it a direct quote or indirect quote?
It's a
Okay,
direct
the
quote.
Direct
direct
quote.
code.
Direct
Direct.
quote.
Fine, direct quotes. This thing, you must just get to know it in that way. Direct quotes. So we are expected to determine the exchange rate for a period of 3 years, as far as this question is concerned. So in year one, what will happen? In year one, can somebody quickly give us the estimated exchange rate based on what we've learned?
All right. 1.03 divided by 1.05
Yeah, divided.
times 150.
So for the direct quote, I got 147.14.
Yeah, very good. And that is the result.
Yes. 147 point. Yes.
So for year two now, what will happen?
I think we are going to raise it to power 2
Very
because
good.
of the yearly
Very good.
inflation.
Very good. That is just the
But I'm not
interpretation.
sure.
At what point are you lost?
You won.
Eh?
The first year I'm lost. The figure.
Recalculate 1.03 divided by 1.05 times 150.
For year
It's alright,
one,
please. Thank you.
we have it as the spot rate at start. The SO is what? 150. The fraction, the adjustment is what? The domestic inflation is what? 3%. 1 plus 3% will give you what? 1.03. Divide by what? The inflation of the foreign is what? 1.05 in year one. Once you simplify this and you multiply by the spot rate at start, you have what? You have 147 point what?
0.14.
0.14.
Oh,
Then in year two,
Yes.
in year 2. You can do it in 2 ways. Yes, you can do it in 2 ways. Instead of increasing this value to the power of 2, you can just come and pick this value here as the next value for year 2. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
You can pick it. No, you can do it in 2 ways. You still get the same results. Same results. You understand? Yes, you can pick this value here, the estimated exchange rate as at the end of year 1, and bring it as the spot rate for the start of what? Year 2.
Okay.
Then you just multiply 1.03 without raising it to the power of 2. Do you understand? Yes.
Okay,
Well,
sir.
yes. Just try
That's
it. Let's see.
144.33.
Yes. Then for this, you can still let's do it the way you first mentioned. 1.03 to the power of 2 now. Okay, let me just do something. To the power of 2 divided by 1.05 to the power of 2. So all this now to the power of 2.
I have 144.34.
All right.
Exactly. It's the same.
144.34.
Sir.
So
I
it's
think
safe. So whichever approach you want to use. So this 150 multiplied by what? 1.03 to the power of 2 divided by 1 to the power of 3 rather, divide by 1.05 to the power of 3.
I have 141.59.
141.59. So now, can we use this same value to work using the indirect quote? Can
Yes,
you
sir.
work using indirect quotes? How will it look like
Yes, sir.
using indirect quotes? What will happen?
Yoruba.
First of all, we need to look for our spot rate for indirect quote by dividing 1 over 150.
Yes.
0.00667.
Our spot rate for indirect quote is 0.00.67.
All right.
Then times 1.03 raised to power 1 divided by 1.
All right. So that is that for that. You can just do more work on that. Let's move forward to interest rate parity. This is purchasing power parity. Interest rate parity now. Interest rate parity. These are theories in relation to exchange rates. In case you are wondering what we are doing. So interest rate parity. Interest rate parity. Now, purchasing power parity talks about the relationship between exchange rate and inflation. Now, interest rate parity is looking at exchange rates and what? Interest rates. Exchange rates and interest rate. So the theory states that the interest rate differential between two countries is equal to the percentage difference between the forward exchange rate and the spot exchange rate. That is the difference between the forward exchange rate and the spot exchange rate will result into what? Interest rate parity. So This situation occur or this situation will result in the fact that any gain from a favorable rate of interest in one currency is likely to be lost in an adverse movement in exchange rate. So when you make gain as a result of the appreciation of your currency, that gain is likely to be lost when the exchange rates move in your disfavor as a country. So exchange rates move to effectively bring about interest rate parity among different countries. So interest rate parity theory is based on the assumption that no arbitrage opportunity exists in foreign exchange markets. When we talk about arbitrage, what do we refer to? Arbitrage is a concept you have to know. Yes, arbitrage. Some of you used to read very fast. You are ahead already. So what is arbitrage? So arbitrage refers to the practice of buying and selling the same assets in different markets in order to make a risk-free profit from price differences. So there are various forms of arbitrage. You have geographical arbitrage, sometimes called spatial arbitrage. There is triangular arbitrage, and so on and so forth. So, but as we study under this topic, the concept of arbitrage is important. So, exchange rates are determined by several factors and not just interest rates. So, interest rate parity theory cannot predict or explain all movements in exchange rates, but what it does is that it acts as a useful guide. It acts as a useful guide. Just like as we have in purchasing power parity, we also have in interest rate parity the computation of forward rates using direct quotes and indirect quotes. Using direct quotes and indirect quotes. So the formula is not that different from each other. This is the formula for interest rate parity theory. That interest rate parity theory can be calculated using the following formula. Direct quotes. For direct quotes, we have it as what? Determination of forward rates. FO is forward rate. And the forward rates, for you to determine that, you must know what your current spot rate, which is SO. Once you are using the direct quotes, it will be the fraction 1 plus what? Interest rate of domestic currency divided by what? Foreign interest rate. So in a question, you'll be giving interest rates in terms of the domestic currency and interest rate in terms of the foreign currency. So once you are giving that, you should be able to determine the forward rate in relation to interest rate parity based on direct quotes, and also for indirect quotes, just as we've done in purchasing power parity, same applies. The spot rate value, if you are using the home currency, the numerator will be what? The interest rates of the numerator will be domestic. If you are using the spot rate in terms of the foreign currency, the numerator will be what? The interest rates of the foreign currency. Let's look at this example in relation to that. That the current exchange rate for South Africa rand against the US dollar is what? is 7.4 round to $1. The forecast annual interest rate for the rand is 6% for the next 3 years, and the forecast interest rate for the US dollar is 2%. Calculate the forward rate. Calculate the forward rate. So based on this, it's just same approach with the purchasing power parity. So for you to compute the forward rate now, for you to compute the forward rate, is this a direct quote or indirect quote now?
Direct quote.
A direct quote.
Direct quote.
Direct quote. So if this is a direct quote now, can you determine the forward rate using the formula we have? Using these now, and we have it as what? Forward rate. The spot rate in terms of direct quotes will be what?
7.400.
Now, the interest in terms of the domestic
6%.
is what?
1.06.
And for this, foreign value will be what?
1.02.
So once you simplify, you have it as what?
7.69.
Okay, 7 points. That is for year one. You know, the question is saying for the next 3 years, right?
Oh, yes, that's for you.
So next 3 years. So for year one, to be what?
I have 7.690.
Yeah,
Yes.
7.901 for year one. Then for year two, to be what?
Let me calculate.
7.99.
For year two. For year two. Now let me use the value we have. This will be 7.6901. I don't want to raise this up. Then you have what here? 7 points. Because this is at the end. The value of as at the end of year one will be the value as at the beginning of what? Year two. Year two. In case somebody is imagining why are we bringing this value here? We earlier explained that you can solve it in two ways. Is either you maintain this value and raise these values up to the power of what? 2. Raise this to the power of 2, or you use this value as the spot rate in year 2, you still get same result. So once you do this, you have 7 points what?
9916.
So you do that also for year 3. Then if you want, you can do the indirect quotes. You can do the indirect quotes. So if you've been following, you shouldn't have issue with all this. If you've been following, you shouldn't have issue with all this, because I want to move to something that is very, very much important. Yes, that's it's complex. All right, I'm with you. Speak on, sir.
Okay. Good evening, sir. What my
Good evening,
question
sir.
is this, if maybe perhaps you have an information like this and you want to interpret it to a layman, will
Yes.
you? Does it mean that
Yes,
you
sir.
said at the start of the year, the spot rate is this 7.40.
Very well.
Then in at the start of year one, the spot rate is 7.69.
At the end,
Is that what I'm
if you
saying?
go to
You can
okay,
at
fine,
the end, the spot rate is 7.69. So this spot rate now will begin the year one.
year two,
We could be in for year two, sorry. Then at the end
yes,
of year two, the rate, the spot rate. This figure here, is this also called spot rate or estimated rate?
estimated spot rate as at the end of the period.
Okay. So the estimated spot rate at the end of the period will become the spot rate at the end of the new year. If you're using the
Yes,
other formula.
yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. I want to move to something. If you keep following, it moves in same
Hello, sir.
direction. All right, sir.
Hello, sir.
All right. I
Sorry.
will.
Uh, I just remember something. The other one, when we are talking about exchange rate in the other aspect, that what is it called? The other first year, that triple P, you use spot rate. Then this of interest too. I don't know. Is this meant to be spot rate or something else? So
I don't.
because this one is kind of different, like the this thing. The
I
spot
don't.
rate now, this one, the other one we use what is it called? 250 to $1. But here we are using 1.400 or 4,000 rand to $1. I don't know
That
if you
is
understand what I'm trying.
the inverse, the indirect quotes.
Yes, exactly.
That is one divided by what? 7.4. One divided by 7.4. If you are using the indirect quote, it will be 0.135. I don't know if we are on the same page with you.
Okay, okay. So
I
the same thing is also applicable to this for the
Yes,
indirect quote, right?
yes.
All
This is
right.
the formula, sir. This is it. Same. It applies. You can see the numerator, foreign,
Okay.
understand,
Okay.
domestic. While we're using direct quotes, the numerator is domestic, numerator and denominator is what? The foreign. So same applies. I don't know if that is fine. Is it clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. I want to move to something very important. Yes, that it's if you miss it, even when you are reading the solution in the study pack or anywhere, to look strange and you just get tired of it. So, and that issue is the issue of what is it called now? Money market hedge. Money market hedge. Money market hedge. That is hedging. In the last class, I said we have two forms of hedging, the internal hedging and the external way of hedging. The external way of hedging, we have issues such as forward contracts, money market hedges, future contracts, options, swaps, and so on and so forth. So these are external hedging techniques. So these are the method designed as agreed by the market participants. Yes, the market participants agreed, such as companies, traders, exporters, importers, banks, and other financial intermediaries to reduce the potential losses that may arise from foreign exchange transactions. So the external hedging techniques include things like forward contracts, money market hedges, we have future contract, options, swaps. When we talk about this forward contract, let me see if I have it here. Forward contract. Okay, I didn't put it here. Forward contract. Okay. Forward contract. These are agreements. These are agreements. They are agreements. I think it's in my first slide that I forwarded to the class. So forward contract, these are agreements to deliver foreign exchange at a future date at an exchange rate agreed upon today. It means when you have a plan to buy something in future, let's say in 3 months' time, you can enter into a contract today. Why are you entering into a contract today? Because of the fear that exchange rates might fluctuate, might increase. So you lock in the transaction as at today's rate, that irrespective of what happens tomorrow in the next 2 months, it does not affect your contract because you've hedged it, you've locked it based on today's rate. So you might intend to or you might expect to get money in 3 months' time, let's say from US, because you know you definitely get that money, and you are scared that the value of naira might depreciate beyond what it is today. You can decide to enter into a contract and hedge against that money, so that when that money comes to you, when that money is being paid to you, you've already hedged against it. You've already guided against fluctuations that might affect it. So this forward contract is a binding agreement to sell or buy an agreed amount of currency at a specified future date at an agreed exchange rate. So this contract always takes place on a date after the date that the spot contract is being settled. And this concept of forward contracts is used to protect buyers from exchange rate fluctuation. So the specified exchange rate is called the forward rate. And more so, the designated date at which the parties must transact is called the settlement date or delivery date. So when we are looking at forward contracts, there are steps involved to solve questions on forward contracts. Steps involved to solve questions on forward contracts. Let me write them out because I don't have them here. Steps involved to solve forward contracts. Because once you know this, you are free. Even in SFM class, you don't have issues once you know this. So just try and know it. I will do more videos on this aspect of the syllabus. So forward contract, the number one step you must know is that you must know what is the exposure value. The exposure value is that value you want to put into the contract, you want to guide against, you want to hedge against. So the first step is you need to determine the exposure value. The exposure value. The exposure value. And what is this exposure value? This represents the value of the contract. The value of the contract. It represents the value of the contract. And also, you must be able to identify the contract period. The question will tell you 2-month forward contracts. You must be able to identify that. identify the contract period. These are things you look out for in questions. And you must be able to determine the forward rate from the question. Determine the forward rate. You must be able to determine the forward rate. Once you determine the forward rate, yes, I'm with you.
Sorry, sir. This for contract, is it under the interest theory or is a subtopic?
So, the topic is a sub still under this is a way of hedging, external hedging techniques. Is not is not part of the theories.
Okay.
Yes, it's those ones we talked about. They are theories of exchange rate, theories, purchasing power
You
parity.
mentioned sorry, you mentioned this in three theories. You listed three theories when we started. The expectant theory. You did not explain that one.
The
Or there's no
expectant theory,
calculation.
yes, I didn't explain it because is a cluster of those two other theories. Yes, is a build up of those other two theories. You understand? So
Okay.
is what you can get on your own based on this understanding. This is the basic. So once you know this, do I have a question here on that expectancy or expectation theory? But it's I discover is not something that we should waste our time on. You can easily get it if you understand this one. This one. Yes, that is why I don't want to dwell on that. So the expectancy or expectation theory, it's a build-up of what? Of
Build up of what? Of
so it's a build-up of interest rate parity theory, purchasing power parity theory, and the Fisher's theory. So all those items, the way you've solved interest rate parity theory, once you see a question, you solve it in that way. You pick the variables. What is the spot rate for the domestic inflation, spot rates, forward rate in terms of the domestic interest rate. So it's just repetition. That is what make up the expectation theory. Yes, and the concept of Fisher theory. We talked about Fisher's theory when we were looking at what is it called? Money rates, all those things, and it's still the same thing. So that is why I don't want to talk about this. This formula, do you know this formula? Do you know this formula? This one here.
I can remember.
You can remember. So the formulas are becoming too much. So this
Yeah,
formula,
Yes,
real
sir.
money
we
and
use
money,
Cost of capital.
yes,
nominal money.
yes. So we solve this. So the point is, um, there is a question on expectation theory. I think it's in this slide. Where is this question? I think I have a question on that. Yes, this is a question on the expectation theory. The example I put forth, but it's just repetition. You solve for interest rate parity. You solve for what? Purchasing power parity, and you solve for what? The money rate of yes, the money value, real money value, using the Fisher's formula. So that is why I don't want to waste my time on this. The I want to talk about the bone, the
the
real
bond,
issue.
the room.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, but for this example, you can visit the ICANN study pack. This example is, I picked it from there, and the solution is just everything you've been doing. From the first example, second, that is what the solution is all about on the expectation theory. So I was talking about the forward contract that determine the forward rates, and you calculate the guaranteed payments. Calculate the guarantee payment. That is the sure value you are expected to receive. Calculate the guaranteed payment. And how do you calculate that? It is your exposure value. Exposure value divided by what? The forward rates. Divided by the forward rates. Divided by the forward rates. So also we have another way you can hedge against fluctuation in the foreign exchange market. We have money market hedge. Money market hedge. Money market hedge. Money market hedge. This money market hedge is a technique used to lock in the value of a foreign currency transaction in a company's domestic currency. The money market hedge is created by borrowing and or depositing a suitable sum of money now to fix payment and receipts in domestic currency. So money market is a market where market participants can lend and borrow money for a short period of time. So the time period could be overnight or up to a year. So there are steps we must know to also solve questions on money markets. Now, the point is, when you are anticipating a receipt, when you anticipating an inflow from somewhere, you can quickly lock in the value you are to get. And the concept of money market is when you are expecting a receipt, what do? The technique is that you borrow. You borrow. Let me just go straight to this chart. Okay. So the point is this: when you are giving question on money markets, these charts here can easily help you to solve question on money markets. It can easily help to solve question on money market. So when you read a question and the question is telling you that XYZ is expected to receive the sum of $20,000 and XYZ is based in Nigeria, it means SYB is expecting something in future. So please look at these charts now. When you are expecting a value, a receipt in form of assets in future, the first step is using this chart here. You can draw it in your book. Using this chart, that amount you are expecting, what is that value? You write it here. You write it here. The value you are expecting, you can quickly go and borrow even before that money arrives. You borrow before that money arrives. What do you borrow? You borrow in that foreign currency, that money you are expecting from the other country. You borrow in that currency. You borrow in that currency. See it. You borrow now. This is it. This is what you are expecting in future. You borrow now, but as you are borrowing, there are interest associated with it. We have interest associated with the borrowing. Now, when you borrow at the foreign currency, you convert that amount you've borrowed into your home currency. You can see this, you can see it here. And when you are converting this foreign currency, you convert at the spot rate. You'll be given two values in the question. You'll be given two values in the question. You convert at the spot rate using the value at the right. When you convert this foreign currency to your home currency, what do? You make a deposit of this money you borrowed. You make a deposit. As you make a deposit, the deposit will yield interest. The deposit will yield what? Interest. It will earn interest. And the interest in relation to the deposit will give you the total value. The total value. Let's go to a better one. Now, this is it. This is it. This diagram is same approach for payment and for receipts. This is for receipts. This is for receipts. So this is when you are the one to make payments. You have a payment to make. Let's say you have a payment to make in future. So you can quickly hedge against that money. You can deposit that money. What is the value you want to pay? You want to pay 10,000 naira in future. But you don't have that 10,000 naira now. You have what? Let's say you have 8,000. So you now calculate that if I should put the 8,000 naira here, by the time it will be due for me to make this payment, the interest accumulation on 8,000 naira should result in this amount. So the point is this: you need to make a future payment. You have a liability, an obligation to fulfill in future. So that money, how much will you deposit now in the foreign currency? You want to pay in cedis, you want to pay in rand. How much will you deposit now in relation to the payment you have to make? Once you determine that, the interest rate or the deposit rate in relation to this box one, you determine that. So it means the value in box one, that is, if you have 10,000 naira here, it will be 10,000 naira divided by what? 1 plus R. Take note, rate is always given per annum. Rate is always given per annum. The question will tell you 3 months. It means if the question is telling you 3 months, 6 months, what will be the proportion of 3 months in the annual rate given? It will be what? 3/12 multiplied by the rate. You won't just pick the whole rate and insert here, because the rate given to you, that will always be given to you, will always be per annum for a year. So if the payment or the contract is for a period of 2 months, it will be 2/12. It's for a period of 3 months to be 3/12. It's for a period of 6 months, it will be 6/12. When you determine that, plus 1 divide by the value you have in box 1. Once you determine that value, you convert this foreign currency you make deposit on. You convert them to what? To home currency. To home currency. And how do you convert? There will be a spot rate. If it is in terms of payments, you use the value on the left. It means this deposit amount you want to deposit, you don't have it. You have to borrow. And once you convert this value to home currency, you borrow. And as you borrow, the result will be what? The value in box 2 here, divide by what? The spot rate. You convert, you get the value you have to borrow in home currency. Once you determine that, you get the total payment. The total payment will be the value in box 3 multiplied by what? The interest rate in terms of what? Borrowing. Take note, the interest rate will be prorated based on the number of year or months you are given in the question. So take note, for payments, the future value you are to hedge against in terms of the foreign currency, how much are you to make deposits on? You have to determine that. You convert this deposit into home currency. And as you convert into home currency, you don't have it, you borrow in the home currency. What interest are you paying in terms of the home currency? You determine that. All these will make sense when we look at an example. But please, this table approach, even when you go to your study pack, apply this approach to the questions you will see, even to the question in the past questions that I will forward. Apply it and you discover that it will be very much easy, because sometimes when you are reading all those stories, those explanations there, it might be confusing and you'll be wondering what they want you to do per time. But this step has made the process very easy. Let's look at an example, then we'll look at two more examples from the study pack, and apply these concepts. In the study pack, they didn't use these concepts. They were writing stories there. Yes. So if you don't like stories, you can adopt this simple technique and it will help you in a great way. Within 5 minutes, you solve a question. So let's look at an example let's look at an example. The question is, let's say a US company is due to receive let's say XYZ is used to receive 8 million SYZ. Let's put it that way. 8 million SYZ in 3 months. In 3 months. The spot rate, the forex spot rate in the current or the forex spot rate in SYZ per $1 is 3.546 3.5460 to, let's say 2 years, 3.5480. Interest rates in money markets. Include the following. Interest rate in the money markets, let's say XYZ, US is dollar. Okay. this, let's say deposits per annum. Deposits per annum. This, the interest rates will be 5%. And for this to be what? 3%. For this, when you borrow, interest rates per annum will be what? Let's say 5.5%. And for this, let's say 3.5%. The question will be this. That's question will be this, that calculates the hedge value of the transaction. Calculate the hedge value of the transaction. The hedge value of the transaction. Now, looking at this question, that a US company is due to receive 8 million SYZ in 3 months. The forex spot rate in SYZ per $1 is 3.5460 to 3.580. What is the interpretation of these two values? Interpretation of these two values. Interpretation of those two values means what?
It is the buying and selling rates of the bank.
Okay, fine. So interest rates in money markets. Deposit per annum in terms of SYZ is 5%, for dollar 3%. When you are borrowing in SYZ is what? 5.5. In US is what? 3.5%. Calculate the hedge value of the transaction. Now, from this table now, let's say this is a case of receipts. A case of receipts. Now, using this table here in your book, receipt value will be what? What do you expect to get in future?
$8 million.
8
8
million
million.
SY.
8 million. 8 million. Yeah, 8 million. Now, to US, this SYZ is a foreign value, right? Is a foreign.
Yes.
Yes. See, you put 8 million. Now, when you get this, when you put this 8 million, you are hedging against this 8 million. What will happen? You can, how much will you borrow? That when you are paying back, it will be equivalent to this 8 million. How much will you borrow? How much will you borrow? That will be equivalent to 8 million. So instead of you waiting till where you get the 8 million and you have a project to execute, you can quickly go and borrow. So that as the money is being paid, you will just use it to offset what you borrowed. So it's a way of guiding against risk. So you are expecting 8 million in 3 months' time. Now, how much will you borrow that will equate 8 million in this foreign currency? How much will you borrow? If you are borrowing in the foreign currency is what? SYZ, right? The borrowing rate per annum is what?
It's 5.
5.5.
5.5. Now, this contract is for how many months?
3 months.
3 months. Fine. So with these variables, we can come back here and look. If you have 8 million here, 8 million divided by 1 plus R. 8 million divided by 1 plus R. What is your R? That is the question now. What is your R? Anybody?
3 all over 12 times 5.5.
Very good. So we have 3 months. Here, I will say we have now. This is SYZ, foreign currency. Foreign currency. Now, at 3 months, you are expecting to get what? 8 million. How much will you borrow now? That will result to 8 million. It will be what? It will be 8 million. 8 million divided by what? 1. 1 plus into the bracket, the R now. You are giving 5.5 as the borrowing rate, right? Per annum. And you just want to borrow for 3 months. What will be the interest rate? It will be what? 3 over 12 multiplied by what? 5.5%. The result will be what? You must know how to punch your calculator. You have what?
Zero 0.01357.
Even after dividing with 8 million?
No. I did not divide with 8 million. Let me try that.
If you are not solving, solve. This will help you in a great way. And if you know you are not getting what we are doing, speak out.
I got 3,368,421.
Wow. You have to check it again, man.
I got 7,891,490.
Yes, it should be 7,891.
9194.
Now, this is in foreign currency. This is in foreign currency. Now, based on this explanation I've stated here, if you want to convert this amount you borrowed in foreign currency to your home currency, what will happen? Look at it. Interpret this. You want to convert this value here. That 7,891,492 now you have. If you want to convert it to home currency, what will happen? You convert at what rate?
Spot rate.
Using which value in the spot rates? See it. This table is
3.546.
3.5 for the borrowing rate.
yeah, see it here. See it. Spot rate. They help you. The value at the right. Is it the value at the right now? Let me see it. Yes, the value at the right.
548.
See it. This table has helped you spot rate, the value at the right. So when you convert 789492 to your home currency, what is your home currency based on this question? It's dollars. Dollars. So when you convert 7891492 to your home currency, it's going to be what? Home currency should be 7891891 492 divided by what? 3.5480. The result will be what? You are converting this to your home currency. See it. Where is this other table? This is it. You divide boss 2 by the spot rate. By the spot rate.
I have 224. 2,224,208.56.
2,224,224.
224,208.56.
Okay, let's make it 209. So this is the value of 7891492 in your home currency. In your home currency. So this value that you borrowed and you now made a deposit of it, what will this deposit result into? What will this deposit result into after 3 months in your home currency? What will the
An
deposit?
interest
Yes, can you give a
interest
clue?
of we'll calculate an interest of 5% for the period the money we deposited. Be 5 or 3%.
Deposit rate in your home currency now, dollar.
3%. 3%.
3%. 3%. 3%. So now it will be what here? This amount you borrowed, you've now make a deposit. What will it yield in the next 3 months? It will be what?
22428.
209
Okay.
multiplied by what?
3/100.
That is 1 plus, that is 3%,
3%.
multiplied by what?
3/12.
3/12. So when you simplify, this will result to what?
That was 224,890.
2240.
890.56.
The US company is due to receive this in 3 months. Forex spots XYZ per $1 is this. Interest rate in money markets calculates the hedge value of the transaction. So now, the hedge value of the transaction would be $2,240,890. It means that instead of waiting till 3 months, before you use your money, you can guide against this value by doing what? By borrowing in the foreign currency. When you borrow in the foreign currency, you convert to your home currency. You convert to your home currency. So as this money is being paid, as this money is being paid, this value, this value here, or this value here will compensate. We just knock out what is being paid to you. So you can quickly borrow at this rate, 7,891,492 now. It will now grow to the point that you don't need to pay interest again. It will mature into 8 million in the foreign currency. So this is one way to hedge when you are receiving, when you want to receive, when you want to receive money. So you can quickly borrow and use the money because of what? Fluctuation can occur in exchange rate. So once you've hedged in this way, no matter the fluctuation, there will be no any change in terms of no, I'm not, I'll be running at loss. I don't want this contract again. All those issues of litigation that might arise will not set in because you've already locked in your value. You've locked in the money you are expecting in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months, by borrowing at a rate that will yield that same value. To further explain this, further, because I know some people are just still looking at what is happening in relation to this. I've just put forth a table to explain, to make it easy. If you can get this table right, you'll be fine. Let's still look at one more example to ensure that we get it well. To ensure that we get it. Let's look at another example again to see that everybody is on the same page. Let's see. So let's take this example. Let's take this example that example. So this one, I'm expecting everybody to be able to solve it. Company, a UK company expects to receive expect to receive expect to receive 800,000 US dollars in 3 months. In 3 months. In 3 months' time. It wants to hedge. It wants to hedge this exposure. It wants to hedge this to currency risk. Using money markets. Or spot 3 months. Spot 3 months interest rates. Currently in the money market. The money markets are have it in this way. So can have it and have deposits. Deposits can have borrowing. Borrowing. This is US dollar. US dollar. And deposits, you have 4.12%. And you borrow, you're paying the interest of 4.250% in British pounds. British pound, and you deposit, it's 6.500%, and you borrow 6.625 percent. So now the spot exchange rates, the spot exchange rates the spot exchange rates is as follows. US So let me make this pounds, please. I want me to use it as pounds. Is 1.77, 1.7780. So with this question now, how can the UK company hedge? Can we try? Can we try? It's not far-fetched from what we've done. You're expecting to get 800,000, right? Can we try? Or if people are in the kitchen?
Yes, sir, we are trying.
Let me see those on this call. Admos Miriam, hope you are trying. Madam Ibironke.
Good evening, sir. I've been
Rawi,
off and on, though I'm going through it.
all right, fine.
Yes, sir.
Rawia Suleiman.
We're trying, sir. We're trying.
All right. Madam Juliet, I've been hearing your voice over time. Madam Tai, Madam Victoria,
I'm here, sir.
Mr. William. Others are depending on the video. I don't know, it's better sometimes to join the class and you go and rewatch the video again. So let's attempt it. Let's attempt it. The first point, you are expecting to get 800,000. So you can quickly go and borrow. How much will you borrow? It will be 800,000 divided by
800,000.
your interest. So once you do that step, what will you get? Let's help ourselves again.
791,589.36.
Okay, 791,589.36.
589.36. Yes, sir.
Very good. Yeah, move on, move on. By the time you solve it 2 to 3 times, you discover it's very simple. It's not difficult. Then I'll now go and show you what has happened in the study pack. Yes. Then you now see that this approach will help you in a great way. So in 3 months, solve, don't look at my own solution. I'm just trying to see what me too I can do now. Now, 3 months, I'm expecting 800,000. 800,000 watts. Okay, US dollars. Then I need to borrow. I need to borrow. After this solution, I will give you the summary of the step. So I need to borrow, and I borrow 800 at 1 plus the interest rate if I'm borrowing in foreign currency now, 4.250. That is, let me write it here, foreign currency. I'm borrowing, that is 4.250 percentage multiplied by 3 divided by 12. You have what here? And you simplify to be what? Should be 791,589.36. That is what she gave to me. So when you borrow, what will now happen? You make a deposit in what? In your home currency by converting at the spot rate. So what will be the value as at this point? Home currency. What will be the value here? And convert 791,589.36 to home currency. With what are we converting?
$1.7788.
Okay, fine. 1.77880. 1.7780. So the result will be what here? Should be 445,213.36. So this value you borrowed, what will now happen? You borrowed, you converted to your home currency. As you convert to your home currency, what will now happen? You make a deposit of it, right? In home currency, when you make a deposit, at what rate? At what rate? UK is the home currency. Which currency are they using? The value of their currency, UK.
Dollars.
What of US?
It's British pound, sir. For
British pounds. So you must know all this. I think in your study pack, in most textbook, they put it out. This country, This is the value of their currency. So UK is British pounds. So the home currency is British pound. If you are making a deposit, at what rate? This is it. You should get an interest of 6.500 if you are making a deposit of what you borrowed. So now, as you converted what you borrowed to your home currency and you make a deposit, the value will be what? To be 445,213 point what? 36. Multiply by what? What will be the interest rate here? To be what? 1 plus what? Into the bracket. Let me remove this bracket here. Into the bracket of what?
3 divided by 12.
Yeah, 3 divided by 12. Multiply by what? This value here is 6.500, right? 6.500%. So the result will be what? So multiply by 3, divide by 12. I have
438094
438,094.33.
times 32733. Yeah.
so this should be okay, 6.5%. Maybe there's 6.5%. So once you do this, once you simplify this, it should result into what? 445,213.36.
Hmm?
Multiply by what? Yes, somebody is saying, 3 over
I
2.
was thinking, I was thinking of writing the final answer.
So it will now be what? It will now be, I'm just trying to show the steps, I'm very busy. Some people will still come to my DM, those that will watch the video later, and come and ask me questions. I might be busy doing something else. And they want me to give them attention immediately.
1.01625.
Yes, 1.001. Okay, I'm still just trying to
1625.
25. Yeah. Then once I do that, I will now do what again? So it will now be what? Once you do this multiplication, 1 plus 0.01625, it will be 1 point what? 01625 multiplied by 445,213.36. It will be what?
438,094.33.
Wow, you have to check it again. It should be 452.
Our own is we divided it by the answer. We didn't multiply it actually.
It's
That's what
multiplication,
we're
no?
getting.
See the one we
Voila.
did first now. Interest, the interest rate. This is it. It's
Okay.
multiplication. Go to the format I presented. See it. Where is it? This is it. Boss 3 multiplied by 1 plus R.
Okay.
Do you see it? Yes.
Yes, sir. That's why we got it wrong. So it's
Right.
to multiply.
So 452,448 point should be 0771. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Madam
Yes,
Victoria.
sir.
So let me present what they have in the study pack. You see it. Let me present something else. Present something else. You see so this is, I put the question from the study pack. The first one was not from the study pack. So this is the question. You can see how they are putting it. If you are the one that don't like stories, you get bored with it. So we've adopted you can see their answer. What is your answer? 452
452 448 point
448.
077. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So
449.
so there's still one further. There's another question now. Let's see this. Let's see this one. See this one now. See this question. This is a case of what? Of you paying, not receiving. Is a case of you what? Paying, not receiving. So when you are paying, what will be the scenario? Where you're the one paying your supplier, not receiving now from your customer. What will be the scenario? Yes. What will be the scenario? I'll go back and show you the format again. The way it's still same approach, but with a little change. If you follow the format I presented, let me present it again. So please note this, and it will save you a lot as time goes on. Present something else. So when you are the one to pay, not receiving now, this is payment, is a liability on you. See it. Please write this in your book. Payments. How much do you want to pay? You have the money now, but instead of waiting till that time, you ask yourself, how much can I deposit now that will result equal into that value? You understand? So this is it. How much do you want to pay? This is the amount. One plus what? This is the foreign currency that you want to pay. Now, this foreign currency, what will you do? You convert it to your home currency using what spot rate? The spot rate at the left. In the other one, when it was received, it was spot rate at what? The right. Take notes of that. You convert this deposit value into what? Your home currency. That means you are borrowing. You are borrowing. In this case, you are not making a deposit here. You are borrowing. When you borrow, what will happen? You can observe the difference between both approach. When you were to receive, what did you do? You borrowed. In this case, when you are to pay, rather than borrowing at this point, you make a deposit in the foreign currency, convert that to your home currency, and you convert to your home currency, you borrow. Now, the value in your boss 2, you convert it to spot rates using spot rates to your home currency. See it, boss 2 divided by spot rate. The value in your spot 2, when you borrow, what will be the total value plus your interest? Box 2 value multiplied by what? The interest rate. Please do you see this? Look at it very well. We'll go to the question now. We'll go to the question and use it to answer the question.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to the question now. Follow everything here. Then let's now go back to the question in the study pack. Then we'll now see what we can do now. Let's go back there. Fine. So now read the question. That's money market hedge, future foreign currency payment. That suppose that a UK company is expecting to pay a supplier $500,000 in 6 months' time. See the time now, the contract period, 6 months' time. And it wants to fix an effective exchange rate for this transaction with a money market hedge. Spot 6 month interest rates currently available in the money market as follows. This is its deposits in US dollar 4.125%. When you borrow, it will be what? 4.250%. In British pounds, when you make a deposit, it will be 6.500%. When you borrow, to be 6.625%. The spot exchange rate is what? Is £1 is 1.770 to 1.7780. Now, looking at this information, can we adopt this into that framework that we have? Can we adopt this into the framework? Now, the first box have what value? The first box we have what value?
500.
The liability we have to pay.
And how much is it?
500,000
$500,000
USD.
US.
Yes, 500,000. 500,000. Now, the box 2 will now be what?
The
The
deposit.
box 2. The deposit. So how much will you make it?
Deposit.
Will you
500,000 all over 1 plus 4.125% times 6 all over 12.
fine? So once you make that, once you derive that, all those values are in foreign currency, right? Then you convert your
Yes, sir.
results. You convert your results in box 2 to home currency.
Home currency.
To
Is
home
it the
currency.
spot rate?
Yeah. So what value now? You know, this is payment. The other one was receipt. In the slide, I showed that which value are you going to use now? The left, the value at the left. In the payment, we use the value at the right. So now, when you convert that value in box 2 to home currency, you're going to have what?
Mr. Topper, I want to ask a question. The value at the right or left? The one when you are receiving, when you are receiving, you are using the highest value. I don't know if we can use that way.
Yes, you can use
Then
that
when we
too.
are
You can,
paying, we use the lowest value from the bank.
yes, fine.
Okay.
You can use that interpretation too. You can use the interpretation. So when you convert now, you have it as what? Hope you are solving. Madam Ruth, hope you are solving.
Yes, sir.
So for box 2, what is your value? Let me know. For box 2.
I go 489, 8954, approximately 896.
Wow. Can I get another result? Okay, you were able to derive 489, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
898.
Okay, fine. All right. I think that is correct. So once you move further in home currency, converting that to home currency, you're going to have what?
870,545.
When you convert to home currency, that
Yeah,
is
we're supposed to times it by the lowest.
no, we are not multiplying. No, 489. The third box 489 895 0.89 divided by 1.77770. You're going to have 275687.
You
I'm not
good?
mistaken.
No, I don't chop.
So the value in the third box is what? If you've gotten the second box right, the third box should not be an issue.
The third box is 275,686.55.
Okay, all right. Me, I have I just got 275687. Yeah. So
275,687.055.
yes. So as you do that now, what will that result into? That value now to result into what? You borrowed. How much will you pay in total? Plus your interest in home currency. 275687 multiplied by the interest. That will result into what? So this is what we are doing. Borrow plus 2 divided by sports. Total payments plus 3 multiplied by 1/3. So your interest will be what? 1 plus
6 divided by
6.2.
4 times 6.624. I got 284,819.
284819.
Yeah.
Yes, that is let's see what they have there in their in the study pack. So you can see it 284819.
819.
But what they are doing in step 3 is to get the effective exchange rate. Effective exchange rate. That is that value you make a deposit on in relation to your final result here. What will be the value in dollars? In dollars. So it's what you are doing is $500,000 divided by 284,819 pounds. It will give you this value they have here. That is $1 is equivalent to what? £1 is equivalent to what? 1 point is equivalent to $1.7555. So that is the third step they are just showing the effective exchange rate. Effective exchange rate. But following the approach I've shown using the box, you can easily solve questions on market hedge. Money market hedge. I will forward some other questions again in relation to this. So please do well to revise what we discuss. Yes, it will.
I have a question.
All
On
right.
the last box now, what
Yes.
interest rate did we use? It's not the borrowing for the home currency, that's the US dollar.
No, we use the borrowing. The home currency is what?
Pounds. Okay, pounds. We use
Fine.
the borrowing. Okay, I get it.
Yes. So we use the pound 6.625%. So once you follow it in that order, you're going to get it right. So there are other examples, other discussions I'll do. I'll do that. I'll do a video on that and forward to the platform on options, features, and the rest. So, but for now, for throughout next week, I'll not be free. We'll be in the conference and I'll have to go home likewise. So I'll not be available. But as I'm free within myself, maybe even though as I'm in the conference, I will still do my own personal videos on things I've not talked about in this aspect and forward to the platform and send my notes to the platform. But I think maybe officially this will be the last class, but I'll still come up with revision. Yes, with revision as it relates to FM and PM, or those doing PM likewise. Yes, so but for now, I think this will be it. Tomorrow I will not be available. Yes, so but everything that we're yet to touch in these aspects, I think there are some little things still. Yes, I will still talk about them. But if you have your time, likewise, you can go through them. This basic knowledge you have now, you can use it to unravel those aspects likewise. So that is why I make sure I touch these aspects tonight. And that is why I skip those other aspects. I'm seeing those parts as being a child's play. Let's talk about something serious. So that is why I have to jump to this point. So please let's keep doing our best and